Question number 6 says that Gestalt psychology emphasizes. Can you answer this question correctly over here? Option number first is given as reinforcement and punishment. Option number second is neurotransmitter balance. Option number C is cognitive distortions. And option number D is the whole is greater than sum of its part. It is one of the easiest question that came in the ihbas 2025 paper, and if you can mark this question correctly, then obviously you are doing good and you have at least your basics correct. Okay, so if you are preparing for the upcoming kgmu or might be the Mphil, the RML paper, then this PYQ is very important for you. Make sure that you are prepared with all the 100 questions that came in this particular paper of ihbas 2025, because this will be very important for you. Now question number next says that I hope you know the correct answer for this is obviously reinforcement and punishment is not the answer, not this one biopsychology model, not the CD thing. Option number D is the correct answer over here. Question number 7 says that, and from where it is coming directly from the C book only. According to Piaget, object permanence develops during. Options given as sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete, and the formal operational. These are the 4 very major important stages given by John Piaget, and then you have to know these stages properly, and they can ask anything from these stages, that this happens in which stage, reversibility comes in which stage, irreversibility comes in which stage, abstract thinking is coming where, pretend play is coming where, symbolic thought is coming where. All these things you need to remember. But for now, this particular question, I hope you are able to mark the correct answer, and the correct answer is your option number A, sensory motor stage. Now moving towards the next question. Next question is about your question number 9. The levels of processing model was proposed by. Okay, we are doing in this paper, which will come in RML and kgmu. We are majorly focusing on the basic structure, the basic questions that they are going to ask in these exams as well. Question number 9 says that the levels of processing model was proposed by Atkinson and Shiffrin, Craig and Lockhart, Baddeley and Hitch, or it was Tulving. So if you know the correct answer for all these questions, then you are preparing very good and your chances are very high that you will clear the upcoming Mphil entrance. And out of these questions, if you miss any single one of these, then your chances drops down significantly. Now, the correct answer for this particular question is Atkinson and Shiffrin, of course not, talking about the stage model. Baddeley and Hitch, of course not, the working memory. And the correct answer is your option number D. No, it is not Tulving. It is your option number B, Craig and Lockhart, 1972, from where we get the deep and shallow processing, that thing, okay, on the various levels. Now, next question says that latent learning was demonstrated by options given as Tolman, Bandura, Skinner and Kohler. If you have to pass the upcoming examination, you need to know latent learning is given by Tolman, the cognitive map thing. Okay, but majorly in any entrance examination that is going to come in near future, that is your for kgmu and for your RML. Okay, these 4 guys are very important. Not this one. This might arise about latent learning, Tolman. They can ask about the CM, the cognitive map, and the REDS. That is very 0.1% chance of these. Okay, but all these, this one, and this one is very important. See, from Skinner, what they will take out, they will take out the operant conditioning as well as the punishment, okay, and the reinforcement. Okay, it becomes very important. Now in punishment, they can ask about the positive one, they can ask about the negative one. Over here in this reinforcement, the positive one and the negative one. Make sure you remember this thing, that whenever we are talking about the positive, maybe a punishment, maybe a reward, the behavior will increase. Okay, and whenever we are talking about the negative things, the behavior will what do? The behavior will decrease. Okay, so it is what? It is a negative correlation between these two things, just to make your memory stronger and consolidate in your LTM this knowledge, and make sure that you remember this thing for your entire life, that there is a negative correlation between these two, because if one goes up, the other goes down, and just for the fun and learning purpose. Now, talking about this guy, Albert Bandura, once again important. They can ask about the Bobo doll experiment. They can ask about the Emmett thing, attention, motivation, imitation, and desire. Okay, the stages of observational learning, how you can do that. And one more important phenomena given by this particular gentleman was your idea of reciprocal deter or whatever you want to pronounce, determinism. Okay. Now what it says about the environment, the behavior and the person and all those things. And one more thing, this is also important. And one more thing is also given by this guy, the self-efficacy. Okay. All these things, 1, 2 and 3 and 4. These 4 things have been given by this Albert Bandura, and these are the 4 stages. You can also associate like this. Now Skinner we have done, Tolman we have done, and this is your Kohler. I don't know what Kohler has done. If you know, make sure you comment down below what has Kohler given you. Okay, so I misread this. Okay, I was not talking about Kohler in particular, but I was discussing about just Ed Kohlberg. Okay, Kohlberg given the theory of moral development and the 3 stages, the conventional, pre-conventional and post-conventional, and the story of Heinz dilemma. Everything is given in the C book. Make sure you read that and be prepared, because they are going to ask about this thing in the upcoming examination. Now, which system includes the brain and spinal cord? And if you don't know any one of these things, it was just for your revision. If you don't know any of these things, make sure you read the C book properly and revise. Now, which system includes the brain and spinal cord? Peripheral, autonomic, somatic, central nervous system. What do you think will come under the peripheral, the autonomic, the somatic and the central nervous system? So it's obviously the central nervous system over here. And moving forward, our researchers, see just what you learn about the correlation. Once again, you will find a question on this particular, and RML it is for sure, because they will ask on this as well, because they have allotted 15% for you. Congratulations. A researcher finds a correlation of R is equals to minus 0.85 between stress and sleep quality. What it is? A, B, C, D. What do you think is the correct answer over here? Is it a positive relationship? No relationship? No. No, we cannot justify, because we are not getting a 0 correlation. A strong positive? No, it is a negative sign having over here a weak negative and a strong negative relationship over here. So what is the correct answer? Correct answer is your option number C, a strong negative relationship. Why? Because when we will draw this integer line or this line where you will find this thing minus 0.85, it will come somewhere over here. Okay, and this will denote what? This will denote a strong negative relationship, not the weak negative. It would have been weak if it was just only over here, something 0.1, it would have been weak relationship. But now, as we can see, the correct answer is your option number C over here. Now, moving forward, the last question for today, and this is your, and if you have given by any chance ihbas 2025 paper and you have missed these questions, then you have just done a blunder mistake in your examination, which has cost you a seat for entire year. You might be wondering you might be sitting for ihbas next time. Why? Because this is a copy pasted PYQ repeat. Okay, this question number 13, make sure you comment down the correct answer. What is the correct answer for this? Which disorder is characterized by persistent sadness and loss of interest? This is a simple PYQ repetition. Bipolar disorder, major depressive, anxiety disorder, or is it about OCD? Okay, make sure that you give the correct answer, because this can also arise in your upcoming RML or KGMU. KGMU, definitely they will ask you KGMU examination. It is going to come like that. Now, one more question for the day. Which gland is considered the master gland of the endocrine system? Options given as adrenal gland, the cornarium, the pituitary gland and the thyroid gland. What do you think is the correct answer? Over here, it is the what? It is your big boss over here. This is your option number C. Pituitary gland is called the master gland of the endocrine system. Why? Because it is located just above the hypothalamus, and whatever thing is told by this thing will go to this and whatnot. Okay, and inside this pituitary gland you are having 2 divisions, the anterior gland and the posterior gland, and from the posterior portion only 2 things are getting released. First is the oxytocin and second one is the vasopressin, which is also called as the ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Okay, thyroid gland no, pineal gland no, and adrenal gland also no. Okay, why? Because it is releasing cortisol from the adrenal cortex and epinephrine and norepinephrine from the medulla and all those things. So with this, I hope you would have marked all the correct options over here. And if you have scored the complete mark 5 out of 5 or 6 out of 6, how many questions are there in this particular video? If you have done so far, you are doing great. You are preparing very well and you will be clearing the Mphil entrance soon. Thank you and have a nice day.